Let's talk about the Philippines. These were the scenes outside the Hague prison as Rodrigo Duterte arrived at the detention center. Duterte's supporters had gathered outside the prison well before his arrival, chanting the former president's name, holding banners that read, "We stand with Duterte." This comes as political temperatures are soaring in the island nation over the former president's ICC arrest, and Duterte had a message for all his supporters as well.
At sinasabi ko naman sa mga polis,
I have told the police and military you do your job and I will be answerable.
at ako ang managot.
And this is it. For all of what happened in the past, I will face it for our law enforcement and military. I said I will protect you and I will be answerable for all.
I will protect you and I will ako ang managot sa lahat. This will be a long legal proceedings, and I say to you, I will continue to serve my country at so be it. Oh, gano'n na. Destiny ko.
So today we raise some big questions. What happens next to ex-President Rodrigo Duterte? Did the Marcos Duterte family feud lead to the arrest? Will the arrest bury or boost Duterte's political career? I'm Ananya Dutta. Let's get some answers. Let's begin with what happens next. Duterte, who faces murder charges at the ICC over his war on drugs, arrived at the Hague prison. Duterte will undergo a medical examination and then be taken to a private cell with a sink, a toilet, bed, desk and bookshelf. Within days, Duterte will face an initial appearance where the court will set a date for a hearing to assess if prosecutors have sufficient evidence to send him to a full trial.
It's important to underline as we now start a new stage of proceedings that Mr. Duterte is presumed innocent. He will make his initial appearance before the court soon, and the focus of the office is on the judicial proceedings and on proving its case before the judges of the International Criminal Court.
But if this case does go to trial and he's convicted, Duterte could face a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. Remember, Duterte served as president from 2016 to 2022. Amid ICC's probe, he pulled the country out of the Rome Statute in 2019. But ICC has played smart. It has noted allegations against Duterte before 2019, which means it is well within its jurisdiction.
And I think it's important to show that the office has been working with communities, with states, with international organizations, with other partners to make sure that the investigation could be focused and could move as effectively as possible. And the fact that it's been executed is important to victims. It means a lot, I think, to victims.
Opinion in the Philippines and among Filipinos across the world seems to be divided. Duterte's supporters have criticized his arrest as illegal and sought to have him returned home. They have accused sitting President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. of surrendering the former leader, a claim rubbished by the president.
It's a request to the Philippine government from Interpol to enforce the arrest warrant. And of course, we comply with our commitments to Interpol. We did not do this because it was derived from or it came from ICC. We did this because Interpol asked us to do it. And we have commitments to them, and we lived up to those commitments.
The complicated relationship between the Marcoses and the Dutertes dates to the 1960s, when Duterte's father served in the first cabinet of the elder Marcos. In 1986, Duterte's mother, a teacher and activist, sided with the People Power Revolution that ultimately ousted Marcos and sent the family, including First Lady Imelda and Marcos Jr., into a temporary exile. The departure of Marcos's allies from Davao helped usher Rodrigo Duterte into the office of mayor in 1988. That's when he led the Davao Death Squad, a group of police officers and vigilantes with a mission to kill anyone even loosely suspected of selling or buying drugs. When he won the presidency in 2016, Duterte made no secret of his role in the bloody campaign. After several decades of tensions between the two families, the Filipinos were in for a surprise when in 2022, Sara Duterte and Marcos ran together as vice president and president. But this coalition between the two family dynasties broke down rather quickly. Fighting between Sara and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, a cousin of President Marcos, strained the relationship. The Marcos clan has used congressional powers to launch an impeachment process and threaten war crime trials against their rivals. The Dutertes, in return, have retaliated with coup attempts, threats of assassination, and publicly talking about cutting Marcos's head off.
I told him, if I am killed, kill BBM, Liza Aranita and Martin Romualdez. No joke.
So why is it important? Sara Duterte has made it clear that she wants to be the next president of Philippines. And there are rumors that if she's in power, she will go after the Marcos family. And the differences aren't just personal, it's also political. The Dutertes and Marcoses don't see eye to eye when it comes to choosing a side at the global front. Under Marcos Jr., the Philippines has pivoted back to the US by allowing American troops back into the country and taking a more aggressive stance in regards to China and the South China Sea. This approach has been challenged by the Duterte family, which has been closer to China. In the first year of the Marcos administration, Rodrigo Duterte served as a sort of an envoy to Beijing, although it became increasingly clear that this was more of an independent relationship between the former president and China's Xi Jinping. Now to the big question. Will the ICC arrest mean the end of Rodrigo Duterte and his family's political career in the Philippines? It is obvious that the ICC prosecution of Father Duterte and a forthcoming impeachment of the daughter Duterte will likely dampen their power. With Duterte busy defending his case in The Hague, he will be unable to focus his efforts on helping his senator choices get selected in the midterms. It may also end his bid to return as mayor of Davao City. However, it is important to remember that Rodrigo Duterte left office in 2022 with approval ratings above 70%. Another poll by WR Numero Research showed Sara Duterte being a preferred candidate in presidential elections that are due in 2028 is very likely. So now all eyes are on what happens next at The Hague. Irrespective of the judgment, Rodrigo Duterte can fall on either side of the aisle, a martyr or a traitor.